Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty not so good news coming out over here when it comes to Microsoft. Now, as you guys know, Microsoft and Xbox, we've kind of been seeing a lot of just bad drama coming with them. Now, it's kind of been like the past 2 months of just a lot of big news, bad news, like basically delays in terms of acquisitions, and as well, we most recently had a really big wave of layoffs. But now, ever since that kind of really big report came out, and stock markets have been kind of doing mediocre and everything in between, it actually seems like the case of Microsoft and Xbox is actually even worse than we thought. And now especially it's affecting more so on the Xbox side, because when that report first came out, we knew it was Microsoft, but we didn't know exactly what. And ever since then, we had even more leaks, more information coming out that the gaming division's been doing even worse. But now as well, we're now hearing even more and more brand new reports that Xbox itself is under even more kind of fire and just not doing as good as it said. Both for some online bullying type stuff, more in regards to big layoffs, and as well, more with the Xbox employees just not doing so good. So I'm going to go talk about this, going to talk about the drama and everything in between, so make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well. Make sure you guys also check out the Amazon links, Target links, and so on, all that good stuff, Twitter and Twitch stream down below, and let's dive into the video. So as I mentioned, there was a really big, massive layoff about like a few weeks ago when it comes to Microsoft. It was a really big talk of the town. Xbox, well, a lot of folks were pretty worried about it, myself included, and now we even have even more reports that Microsoft is reportedly laying off even more Xbox employees. And now this, not good. So Microsoft is reportedly informing, even on forums, that more employees at Xbox are basically being a part of their layoff, and they're affecting now even the marketing team and also the gaming ecosystem group when it comes to everyone who's losing their jobs. Now, before, we saw a lot of big hits when it came to the Halo team, just basically Halo in general is doing rough, and a lot of these also smaller teams are either being micromanaged, reorganized, or some things were actually being fully laid off and basically reallocated, which is never good to see when you're kind of a big company like Microsoft. So, according to a brand new report now, more Xbox employees have lost their jobs as part of Microsoft's ongoing layoffs. So this isn't like just like a one-time thing too, it actually kind of seems like it's gotten even worse since then. The news continues to affect every part of the Xbox division, with individual studios feeling like 343's Industries feeling the extent of the layoffs. So, as you guys know, 343 is basically the Halo makers, and Halo, it's always hard to say because it is kind of a flop. It wasn't good, it's still probably not going to be making that much money, and if anything, it might even be costing them money because, well, they have to maintain servers, they have to maintain updates, and if people aren't really doing microtransactions or playing the game, at the end of the day, it's probably not doing so well. It's kind of a scary thing to see. So as we're going through this one, we're just not good. So the Xbox Series X and S is smashing sales records, but this has not prevented Microsoft from engaging in mass layoffs like many other tech companies have done as of late. No matter what, players shouldn't worry about the future of Xbox. Microsoft appears to have been completely committed to the console and continues to invest heavily in the success of the Xbox Game Pass. But now, if you're an employee, that usually kind of goes and signifies a little bit more of a scarier thing. Now, we at least have been seeing companies like Nintendo trying to go and bolster up their salaries as of these past few weeks. And while Microsoft is kind of a higher paying tech position, they usually pay very well, have good benefits, yeah, these big layoffs are definitely not helping the cause at the end of the day. So the 10,000 layoffs at Microsoft were first announced about a month ago or so. And although it's now becoming clear about who is now becoming affected, because we're now actually seeing a lot more teams getting laid off, we're seeing the individual teams themselves kind of like, doing these public tweets and mentions and all that, and it really does seem like Xbox is one of the heavier hit sides. Now, Microsoft just put like a $10 billion investment to OpenAI. They're trying to get Bing back in the business. Windows has been doing phenomenal, and especially the cloud hosting. And the cloud hosting does kind of go somewhat tied with Xbox itself, but it really does kind of seem like Microsoft and Xbox are kind of on a little bit of a shaky waters. Now, I mean, obviously Xbox is probably still making money. It's still doing okay. It's not losing money, but Game Pass is going to be a big money sink. And if you're an executive at Microsoft and you're still trying to go fight tooth over nails for this Activision acquisition, you got to make sure that, number one, that deal over time is going to be good. Like, you want to make sure you're going to actually make money and it's actually worth the investment and all the time, stress, and lawyers, because guess what? Those big law firms going against the government, it costs a lot of money, but as well, you're also going to make sure that everyone who's a part of the teams, such as these small teams and like 343 or these indie games or Xbox studios, because they do have a lot, they got to be also making money and being profitable. And I do think that Xbox itself is kind of getting worse because we're seeing even more and more gaming being affected. And it kind of stings too because Xbox, I feel like, just needs to be thrown a bone. They haven't had anything good going on for a while. It's been a lot of really bad PR, and at least the PlayStation does have like some niceties and people are getting a little excited for it, but at the end of the day, it's just not doing so good. I don't know, it's like almost like kind of almost scary. Mainly because if you're seeing a lot of layoffs, that's never a good sign. You're seeing people complain about Game Pass, not a good sign. You have like a big overall marketing meme that Xbox just has no games. Also, not a good sign. So basically, the latest reports suggest that the new round of reductions have affected both the marketing team and the gaming ecosystem group, with basically the Surface and the HoloLens divisions also previously affected as well. So basically they got hit again on top of that, which I guess kind of makes a little bit of sense because you see a thing like a Microsoft Surface. Yeah, it's niche, it's cool, but it's probably not the biggest money printer or something you need a lot of folks on the team for. Or same with HoloLens. These are kind of like niche devices, which are cool. They have their place, but they're not as cool as we expect. So it's unclear exactly how many have actually been lost from each team so far, but more losses can actually be expected to be announced in these next upcoming few weeks. So it's not also just like this huge big blast of 10,000 folks getting laid off. We're now seeing even more, basically people like losing their positions. We're seeing, I've also mentioned this a lot, we've seen people on Twitter, on Reddit posts, LinkedIn especially, that are all like, thank you so much, Microsoft, for the time, Xbox, looking for new jobs and everything in between. And it really has been one of the harder situations, I think, like for most folks, because these people are literally losing their jobs. So they go and say, and I agree, it's always a sad day when job losses are announced in the gaming industry. I agree. Especially because we've been seeing so many really big issues recently. Like we've been seeing G4, IGN, all these writing companies, etc. It's just been kind of a scary thing, especially if you're in gaming. Even on, say, for YouTube and Twitch, there's been a lot more folks that are just having issues and struggles and everything in between, which I totally go and get. So unfortunately, those layoffs are happening across the gaming and tech industries. Late last year, even trillion-dollar company Amazon had to go cut jobs in its Luna Cloud gaming experimental divisions. This is Amazon, who prints money. I mean, their last stock thing wasn't so good, but even then, still. In a time of global financial uncertainty, many companies will look to cut back on experimental and unsafe investments. So to some, this won't be a surprise, I'd agree, but it remains to see how this uncertainty extends to smaller companies, where money is much tighter than a monolith like mega corporation like Microsoft or Amazon. Despite the layoffs, though, Microsoft did continue to attempt to force through the acquisition of Activision, and it's still kind of where they want to drop like $80 billion in acquisitions with ChatGPT and Activision, while they're also laying off so many folks. It's a legal battle that threatens to rumble on for a while yet, but it could also be huge for Microsoft if it goes through. The potential of having Call of Duty as an exclusive franchise for Xbox would also make a lot of the consoles as well number one. So I want to hear your thoughts, because it does seem like these layoffs are hitting the gaming side a lot more than expected on Xbox, and I do think, well, it's not good to see. We never like layoffs, especially in the gaming side. Now, so we also have some intriguing stuff too when it comes to Xbox, where there's a bit of intriguing stuff when it comes to online abuse. So this also is getting like Xbox a little bit in the heat itself, where they're actually kind of trying their best to go work with some sort of AI and politicians to go and work on these legislative safety reforms, as they kind of want to make these bills be a little bit more safer for people to go and like play multiplayer games and kind of incentivize like online gaming. Now, it's intriguing because I think at the end of the day, it's good. Like no one wants to be bullied or have kids be bullied or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's kind of just crazy to see. So basically, the corporate vice president of Xbox also told Sky News that there's no silver bullet to protect women and minority groups when it comes to internet who experience online harassment and abuse. Now, that's actually kind of a sad thing to go and hear, but it kind of does go and put like a lot more light on Xbox side too, where they're trying to fix this stuff, which is nice, but it kind of just goes and highlights that this is still like a pretty relevant thing. Dave McCarthy said it takes just one toxic experience on a platform and your trust in the online space dissipates immediately, as it should. Now, they are probably not like me and have never played League of Legends, because that is my, well, how I cry at night. The interview outlined Microsoft's Xbox and renewed commitment to online safety, which is a good thing at the end of the day. Mr. McCarthy told Sky News of the tools used by the gaming behemoth to keep children and others safe on his platform. It's an ongoing thing that we have to plug away at, and we have these tools in place to help hold ourselves accountable, he said. One of these measures, he says, is the deployment of artificial intelligence, which sifts through billions of messages and images on Xbox platforms to identify their abusive behavior. There are some AI solutions deployed in the detection of things like bot accounts that are causing issues as well, and they're using this different type of AI stuff to basically make it so they can find all these different small issues. Now, they have these detection algorithms, allow say like the needles in the haystack, then they also then have the humans go and validate all these things going on. Now, some folks are also kind of, obviously just the internet, they're always upset about something, complaining about the fact that only AI is in control of this, and that Xbox has to do a bit more alongside with their AI to go and fix this. But at least they are trying their best to go commit and do something to make it a little bit better at the end of the day. So I want to hear all your thoughts on the kind of, I guess, recently struggles when it comes to Xbox. No one likes seeing layoffs. No one likes seeing people losing money. And also, obviously, we just want to make sure our game products are good at the end of the day. So I want to hear your thoughts. You guys still worried about Xbox? Do you guys think long-term it's whatever? They're going to make a lot of money regardless? Or do you guys kind of think it's just, well, they're kind of redundant, risky categories anyway? Who kind of cares at the end of the day? As well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below. If you guys want to follow, we have the Target links, we have the Amazon links, and everything else in between. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on.